Go for main engine start. We have main engine start. 4, 3, 2, 1.
I guess we can get this started as soon as... So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this SSL Gold Cup inaugural ceremony. And you can enjoy this ceremony in 2 other languages. La traduction sera faite en français sur le canal 1. Translation will be made in English on channel 2. La traducción en español será en el canal 3. To begin with, I would like to present to you the president of the Star Sailor League. He won an Olympic bronze medal on a starboat. He has been twice world champion. Please welcome Mr. Xavier Roard.
Bonsoir à tous. Comme vous l'entendez, j'adore parler français, donc vous allez devoir supporter le français. Je vais vous demander de vous lever pour l'hymne de la SSL, s'il vous plaît. Merci à vous.
Thank you very much, Mr. Roy. I forgot to mention one thing before we get started. If you want the translation, you're going to have to use this little black box you were given. It only works if you plug in the earphones, then you turn it on and choose the channel. So I was told it would be better if I explained it to you than individually explaining it as you get into the room. Our next speaker is the head of the Department of Economy and Innovation and Sports for the Canton de Vaud. Please welcome Mr. Philippe Lebas.
Excellency, President, ladies and gentlemen, welcome here in Lausanne, in the Olympic capital. We are very pleased to welcome you, everybody here in Lausanne. I will speak just for you in French now. I switch, it's better for me, and I am sure it's better for you. Mesdames et messieurs, bienvenue ici à Lausanne, capitale olympique, dans le canton de Vaud qui héberge 59 sièges de fédérations sportives internationales, continentales ou mondiales. C'est un très grand honneur pour nous que de constater que vous avez choisi ce lieu emblématique, le musée olympique, pour votre journée inaugurale. Et comme ancien arbitre de football international, c'est un plaisir que de constater que vous êtes inspiré du football pour lancer votre championnat du monde. Si j'ai bien lu l'ensemble de votre publicité, je m'en réjouis. Je crois que tous les sports de ce bas monde ne peuvent que tirer bénéfice en s'inspirant du football. Mesdames et messieurs, bienvenue à Lausanne. Que votre nouvelle compétition, que ce nouveau championnat du monde soit un succès populaire, un succès sportif, pour qu'il soit à l'origine d'une diffusion large auprès des jeunes et des moins jeunes de la passion de la voile. Même si vous êtes ici dans un pays qui ne connaît pas de frontières maritimes, nous avons su, avec notamment la Coupe de l'Amérique, démontrer que nous savions parfois aussi un peu naviguer. Alors inspirez-vous de ces succès pour que votre championnat du monde soit à l'image de ce que l'on se fait de la voile, un sport populaire, un sport d'enthousiasme, un sport qui réunit jeunes et grands derrière des paysages splendides. Je profite de ce micro pour souhaiter un plein succès au Bahreïn, qui va accueillir les phases finales. Monsieur, merci beaucoup d'avoir fait le déplacement et d'être venu ici. Je suis convaincu que la voile sera un peu chez elle, chez vous. Merci et bonne journée.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lebas. The following people that are going to be coming up on stage have a very special relationship with the Star Sailors League. Some of these people are quite literally legends of sailing. Regarded as some of the world's most valuable sailors, they have changed the history of the sport. So please welcome our first guest and captain of Team Brazil, Mr. Robert Scheidt. Robert has participated in 5 Olympics and won a medal each time he's gone to the Olympics. He has 2 gold medals, 2 silver medals, 1 bronze. He has been world champion a total of 12 times. He won the Star Sailors League finals in 2013 and has won the Pan American Games 3 times. Our next guest is Timea Bashiski. Timea is regarded as one of the most influential women in tennis players of Switzerland. She has an Olympic silver medal. She has won 4 singles titles, 5 doubles titles in the WTA, and she reached her all-time best ranking in 2016, where she was ranked 9th in the world ranking. Please put your hands together for our next guest, captain of Team USA, Mr. Paul Caillard. Paul was a star world champion in 1988. Later, he went on to win the Louis Vuitton Cup aboard Moro di Venezia 2 in 1991. He is a former winner of the Whitbread Round the World race. He was nominated as Rolex Yachtsman of the Year. And in 2004, he was 5th at the Athens Olympic Games in the star class. Please applause for our next guest, Mr. David Graham. David is the Chief Executive Officer for World Sailing. He has spent his life promoting the sport of sailing due to his exceptional leadership and communication skills. And we are very excited to have him aboard as we continue to work in partnership with World Sailing. Now, our next guest is a legend of our sport and paved the way to revolutionize the sport of sailing as we know it today. He was the one to stop the 132-year winning streak of the United States of America in the America's Cup in 1983. He also won a bronze medal in the Olympic Games in the fin class. He has been world champion twice on an Etchel, regarded as one of the most influential sailors ever. Please make a thunderous amount of noise for Mr. John Bertrand A.O. And coming up next on the stage, we have the General Director of the SSL Gold Cup and Captain of Team Poland, Mateusz Kuznerowicz. Mateusz has been to the Olympic Games 5 times and has won a gold medal and a bronze medal in the fin class. He has also been world champion 4 times in both the fin class and the star class. In 1999, he was also nominated the ISAF Sailor of the Year. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to a man who we consider to be the founding block of everything that we do here at the SSL. He is the chairman of the SSL finals in the Nassau, Bahamas. He is the regatta director of the SSL Gold Cup. Please welcome, as we should, Mr. Paul Hutton Ashkenny.
I think Jan is making fun of me. Your Excellency Sheikh Khalifa bin Abdullah Al Khalifa, Mr. Ambassador, Olympians, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It is my pleasure to be your guide as we introduce to you a short history of the Star Sailors League and the SSL Gold Cup, told not by me, but in their own words by each of the distinguished guests that we are honoured to have with us here this evening. I first met Michel Nicholas in 2013 in Nassau in the Bahamas. And Michel at the time was frustrated at the way that the sport of sailing promotes itself and its top athletes. And plenty of people voice their frustrations about things all of the time. But Michel is one of those unusual people that does something about it. And he worked with other like-minded sailors, and a new concept was born. And it was called the Star Sailors League. And one of those like-minded sailors just happened to be one of sailing's most successful Olympic medalists of all time, Robert Scheidt, captain of SSL Team Brazil, who I honoured to have here this evening, and who has kindly agreed to give us his memories from that time. Robert.
Thanks for... Hello. Paul, thanks for the introduction. Your Excellency, dear sailing friends, great to be here today in this amazing place, the Olympic Museum, a place that means a lot to all of us. But to describe what happened in this project, I'd like to go back in time a little bit. It was around 10 years ago, after the London Olympic Games, when a group of top sailors got together and started to discuss an event that would take the attention of the public and would be different than what we're used to, and would be something unique in our sport. And with the help of Michel and this group of sailors, we started to envision an event that would attract the top sailors in the world on a great sailing venue with an even platforms, even boats, and an event in which the attention and the promotion would be on the athletes and not in the event itself. So it was something unique. Our first edition was in Nassau, like Paul said, in 2013. So in a matter of 1 year from those first talks, we already had our first event in Nassau with great success. We used the historic Star class as a platform. It was a great equalizer because we could have sailors from the America's Cup, offshore sailing, Olympics competing each year in a great finals and celebrating who would be the winner of that season. Another 6 editions follow in Nassau with great success. I think we achieved a lot of our goals with those events. But I think the SSL has taken another step, a step further. With the SSL and bigger boats, the SSL 47, with full national teams competing to find out who is truly the best sailing nation in the world. More than 50 teams competing. So it's something unique in our sport. I think for us athletes, one of the most important things is that our voice was always heard. Since 10 years ago up to now and the decisions going forward, we are always talking to the management team of SSL and bringing ideas and trying to make this event better and better. So this is something unique in our sport, and I'm sure come November in Bahrain, we're going to have a successful regatta. And I can't wait to come with my team and compete against the best in the world. So thank you very much, everybody, and enjoy your sailing.
Thank you, Robert. One of the original founding pillars of the SSL is the sport of sailing's only ranking system that ranks sailors of almost every nationality across multiple boat classes. Now in its 10th year, and updated every Tuesday, an astonishing 128,000 skippers and crew are ranked from 120 countries across 80 boat classes. It's a remarkable achievement. By the way, the current world #1 lady is Anne-Marie Rindam of Denmark, and the current world number one man is Tonči Stepanovic of Croatia. It's no secret that the SSL ranking system is modeled on the highly successful ranking of the tennis circuits. And we are delighted to have here with us this evening Tomaja Baczynski to share with us the real-life importance of ranking in the sporting arena.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the introduction as well. So, of course, I grew up playing tennis and not sailing, and I didn't have much time for sailing, but I do own a little boat by the lake here. So I was many times on boats, and I actually really love it. But of course, growing up and playing tennis, you all the time, you're aware that you have to, I mean, your dream is to be top 100, top 50, then maybe top 10, and maybe world number one. I'm lucky enough that I went till world number 9. But I think the ranking made it as well extra special. So I think I really think it's a very good start, like to get to know as well those very good sailors around the world, and probably the media is going to put forward the achievements and being, of course, maybe top 10 in sailing. It's difficult for me to know sailing-wise what's if top 100 worldwide is good or not, but I believe it's already amazing according to all the sailors that are sailing and that are competing. In tennis, it was as well pretty good to know financially. Okay, like which ranking do I have to be more or less to be able to have, I mean, to live out of tennis? We used to say it's you really have to be in the top 100. Now maybe it's top 150 because we have a little bit more sponsors, and tennis is quite popular sport. But it's as well a number, like being top 100, you know that you can participate in the Grand Slams, so on the main draw. So you were all the time aiming to be in that ranking, in that cut of 104 players that are able to play in the main draw. And probably as well for sailing, it's going to be a big help as well for the competitions and for the selections. And it makes it really like more unique to feel like, okay, I belong in those best players, and I'm excuse me, and I'm allowed to play or to compete in those events. Tennis-wise, it was really something very important for us, and it made as well an expertise about your career at some point. So for me now, I'm, as I said before, I feel very lucky that I was able to be in the top 10 and only have one number. So I made it till 9 and then I stopped. I wish I could go higher, but it was not possible. But if now I come and talk in front of people, or if people introduce me and they say, okay, she was top 10 in tennis, she was world number 9, of course it makes it, it gives to your career a very big value, and achievement-wise as well. So people as well can understand that there were only 8 players better than me in the world, which is quite amazing, knowing how many human beings we are on planet Earth. So yeah, I think that was my input about the rankings. And I'm really glad to get to know a sport that was a little bit less known for me. And I'm very, very happy to share that with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tomaja. The SSL ranking quickly gathered a huge following that was reintroduced reinforced by the introduction of the SSL finals each year, an end-of-year championship that brings together the top-ranked sailors in the world in a unique format in Nassau in the Bahamas. We have more than one repeat competitor and top-ranked sailor from the finals here this evening, but one of those is the inimitable Paul Kayard, captain of SSL Team USA, who has kindly agreed to share his own experiences. Paul.
Thank you, Paul. Well, like my story is pretty similar to Robert's as far as the SSL. So without being overly redundant, I did participate in the first event in 2013, and we all remember those days. For me, as an American, I raced a lot in the Bahamas. I first sailed there in 1978. It's a fantastic venue for putting on sailboat races. So there was the right climate, and also the SSL was a format that allowed us to have the best of match racing. We've had Ian Williams and Taylor Canfield. We had the Olympians with Robert and Xavier and Ian Percy. And we've also had America's Cup sailors. So it was a medium to really place the best sailors in the world into one field of play. And that was very innovative and very cool. And the reason why it works in the Star, which I loved because that's my boat, but it's a smart boat for it because you can equalize the weight differences. So we had Simi Fantella, 470 gold medalist, racing against Xavier, who weighs 100 and, maybe just 100 kilos. But they could compete equally because you can equalize the weight with the crew, right? So it was really smart and fun. And I would say the SSL has always been, nationality has always been fundamental and core in SSL, and that is a fantastic opportunity. The Olympics has it as well, and we've all enjoyed representing our country. I'll just say it because I'm a longtime America's Cup sailor. The America's Cup struggles with that a little bit, and I, in fact, even raced for a foreign country in one of my 7 America's Cups. So I think, though, in terms of endearing the public to an event, nationalism is something not to be lost, and SSL clearly understood that from the get-go. The other very cool things have been the format, and frankly, I think the Olympics could consider this, where there's a fleet qualifying series, eliminate down to 10, one race with 7 boats on the track, take 3, move forward, and in the end, there's one race with 4 boats on the track, and it's a winner-take-all. And it's very exciting. I'm sure that's how the finals will be in Bahrain, and that's very cool. The television coverage, it was live streamed on the internet, but it was very, very well done. Everything about that SSL has done, as you can tell, is of the highest quality and very professional. So now we begin phase 2 of the SSL, which is really the World Cup of sailing. Profiled after the Soccer World Cup, which is, again, a very clever idea. It's a format everybody can understand. And I think the gift of the SSL Gold Cup is what we've been seeing in Grand Son in the last 3 weeks. It's Chile, it's Peru, it's South Africa winning the test event. Robert Scheidt and Mateus have been, and Torben Grail have been on the top of, sailing for forever. But we come from countries maybe that have a certain amount of support, and I think it's fantastic to have an event where you can show up, you're absolutely on a level playing field, and if you have the talent, you win the race. And I understand that France was training against some of these guys a few weeks ago, and it wasn't easy. So I think coming to Bahrain is going to be, I'm really looking forward to it, to representing Team USA, but it's going to be very challenging. I think, in fact, some of the teams that will have gone through all the rounds are going to have a bit of an advantage over the ones that are seeded. So just in closing, I just want to leave you all with, it's been my honor to be part of SSL for the 9 years since its inception. it's truly, I've been in sailing all my life, so 50 years, and it's probably the most remarkable project that I've seen in the sport. And I did the America's Cup a lot, so I've dealt with the commercial side of sailing, trying to make it commercial. I think SSL is a fantastic project in that regard. Everything they do is professional. The team is fantastic, and I don't think we can name a person who's done more for the sport of sailing than Michelle Nicholas. So I'll just close and say, Your Excellency, really looking forward to coming to Bahrain in November and representing the United States and being part of this inaugural SSL Gold Cup. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. In 2017, the SSL's events were included under the umbrella of World Sailing Special Events, alongside other iconic events at the time, such as the Volvo Ocean Race, the America's Cup, and the World Match Racing Tour. We are delighted to have with us David Graham, the Chief Executive Officer of World Sailing, to give us his perspective on the importance of the SSL and World Sailing Special Events and how World Sailing is moving in partnership with the Star Sailors League.
Thanks very much, Paul. Your Excellency, Sheikh Khalifa bin Abdullah Al Khalifa, and Olympians and distinguished guests. I had to get up actually because I don't feel comfortable sitting in front of my sailing heroes and my new tennis hero, because I come from a different perspective. I'm delighted to be here this evening with, we've got a great representation from World Sailing. We've got our elected presidents, Philip Baum from South Africa, Jan Rochereau from France, who's an Olympian, and Thomas Hamera from Poland, and also a couple of members from the senior management team. As the International Federation of the Sport, our task is relatively straightforward. Our task is to promote and drive the development of sailing globally, to ensure the best-in-class governance and the integrity of international competition, and to lead and create alignment in impact with regards to sustainability and inclusion. Put another way, our job is to serve the sport at an athlete level, a member national authority level, and an event level. Led by our board within World Sailing, there is a focus on the modernisation of the sport and keeping pace with the fast-moving development, but we balance this with remembering the foundations of our sport, so helping ease of access and encouraging participation globally. Sustainability, equity, diversity and inclusion is a big priority. Our board are leading from the front, and there are a number of examples of that. The progress and impact of our Agenda 2030. World Sailing is the leading Summer Olympic Federation with regards to sustainability. Our board of directors are gender equal. All of our committees and commissions are gender equal. And the regatta management team at the sailing events in Paris 2024 are also gender equal for the first time ever. Created by sailors for sailors, this Star Sailors League embodies much of what we appreciate in a modern sailing event. So much so that, as Paul said, in 2017, it was recognised as a World Sailing Special Event, alongside events such as the America's Cup, Sail GP, Foiling Week, etc., etc. As we move into the 5th year of this arrangement, the Star Sailors League should be immensely proud of what they've achieved, creating this nation versus nation, highly inclusive event series that also pays due care to our shared sustainability and inclusivity missions. Starting with the top 56 teams, it's an impressive global tour, bringing together sailors from all over the world for many different disciplines, competing on equal terms in identical boats, and it is actually taking our sport to new audiences. I'd like to congratulate His Excellency Sheikh Khalifa and the Kingdom of Bahrain, and all of their esteemed members. It's a wonderful sailing destination, and I'm sure the grand final in November will be a magnificent event. We look forward to seeing who makes it through the qualifying heats and to earn a place to get there. and we'll be joining the rest of the sailing world and beyond by watching the competition unfold and eventually crowning the Star Sailors League 2022 World Championships. And finally, on behalf of World Sailing, I'd like to thank all that made this unique event happen, in particular to Michelle, the investor, and the management team. Thank you especially for your focus, guidance, coaching and inspiration that you're delivering to the emerging nations. The Star Sailors League is important in qualifying for the Gold Cup, but as important is the legacy it's leaving in its wake. The training base in Grandson, about 40 kilometres north of here, has given sailors from South America, Asia and Africa, for example, a training base where they can develop their skills and learn from sailors such as these, which in turn makes sailing more accessible and drives global participation. We wish all the teams fair wins for the remainder of the season and a successful final in Bahrain. And thank you again. We're very proud to have the Star Sailors League within the World Sailing family. Thank you.
Thank you, David. In that same year, 2017, there was a light bulb moment for the SSL. The evolution of the SSL would include a tournament that would crown the world's best sailing nation, modelled on the Football World Cup, but in sailing, where the stars are the athletes, representing their country, a national team on from the SSL ranking, competing on a big boat, the SSL 47, a fleet of exactly the same boats provided by the SSL. A strict nationality rule. All nations, from emerging countries to sailing powerhouses, competing in a unique knockout format on the same level playing field. The concept of the SSL Gold Cup was born. And we are honoured to have here with us this evening a sailor who knows all about the motivation in competing for their country. Indeed, the America's Cup, the world's oldest international sporting trophy, might be separated into two eras, before and after John Bertrand won the Cup for Australia in 1983. Captain of SSL Team Australia, John has very generously agreed to share his thoughts with us on the SSL Gold Cup concept.
I'll stand up if I may. When Matus, I guess about 3 or 4 years ago, asked me to get involved, I had no idea what he was talking about, but he kept coming back. Then initially I said no, there's other stuff going on, but he, of course, Matus, he doesn't give up. We know that, and. For better or worse, I'm now team captain, and then I called Tom Slingsby to be the skipper of this project. And Tom said, "What's this all about?" And I said, "I've got very little idea, but there's a whole bunch of star sailors who are putting this project together." And then Raz and I, we arrived on Saturday and watching the racing, and I met Michelle, which was a stream of consciousness. Listening to the man all day, it was just a stream of ideas. Hopefully you understand, a stream of consciousness, okay, where just the ideas came and came and came. And we met the ultimate entrepreneur, a visionary, which is very, very unique in the world, let alone, here in Europe, where these ideas were here, and not only here and now, but as a result, in addition, he's hiding up in the right-hand corner. Okay, he's still in his Swiss sailing team members. He hasn't taken it off all week. That's his sailing uniform. And he just loves this thing. And as he says, it's driven by the sailors. But the titular head is this crazy guy who's really, been clearly the engine, the motivator behind this thing. So I received a WhatsApp text from Tom this morning. He says, "John, what's going on?" I sent him a note back basically saying, "Mate, this is big. We've got to get our act together." You're watching these teams from Peru and Cuba and so on duking it out on Saturday. And we're actually coming across for, thank God, we're coming across for a week of training in August. But the point is that the light bulb went on for myself and Raza to really understand the full concept. Paul really summed it up beautifully in terms of nation versus nation and the World Cup. We call it soccer, but World Football Cup. I get it now in terms of different nations in their own regional zones competing against each other. So, for example, today, Australia soccer team is competing against who, Raz? Peru, to try and get into the World Cup. And this is a big deal in Australia. This is nation versus nation. It was exactly the same concept with the SSL Gold Cup. And to plug into that energy, that passion of country versus country is really the real opportunity, the engine of what you folks have created here. So I heard from one of the team captains that they struggled to get their best team because they're professional sailors and so on and so forth. Our country has the best our country can produce. No one has said no. Why? Because they understand that this is a big deal. So we've got the best sailors that Australia can produce into that team. Whether we can sail together as a team, God only knows, because we've got Will Ryan over here, Olympic gold medalist. No one can tell that man what to do, and he's got to be part of a team instead of a two-man 470 class. But nevertheless, we're going to give it a shot. But the point is that it's just unbelievable for all these characters. Normally, Will would not necessarily be invited into a 9-man team, but he's understand game is changing for that man, God bless him. But the point is the opportunity through the ranking system of making sure that we've got the best of the country can produce as part and parcel of the rules of engagement in terms of putting these teams together. So the concept is beautiful. It will be refined further. There's no question about it. But what we have here is something that's unique. And as I said to Tommy this morning, this is a big deal. This is a big idea. And you know, Australia is very, very proud to be part of this journey. So, Michelle, up in the top right-hand corner, God bless you, and the team that you've put together. We had a wonderful breakfast this morning with Matus, and we're talking about a lot of stuff. But part of it is the sense of creating an organisation. And if you study bees creating beehives, it's chaos. But bees actually create the most incredible structures that one could ever imagine from an engineering point of view. Google now study the creation of beehives created by bees. This organization is a little bit chaotic, and as a result, great things are happening. This is not this organization is not an old world organization. You've got people doing stuff that normally wouldn't, but the creation of something really from a very, very small base only a few years ago to what's created now, from my perspective, it's chaotic and it's fantastic. And I think it's just wonderful what you folks are doing. So we'll be back. We're going to give it a good shot, and our team are really getting excited about this project. And as I said before, it is a great pleasure to be involved. So we'll give it every help we can. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. So, as I like to say, here we are. After an extraordinary amount of work, 5 years after the first seed was sown, the SSL Gold Cup has finally come to life. The dream has become a spectacular reality. An astonishing 56 competing countries drawn from the entirety of the globe. 24 nations awarded a bye to the finals based on their position in the SSL Nations Global Ranking. The remaining 32 countries competing for one of the 16 qualifying spots that are taking place right now between May and July in Grandson here in Switzerland. One amongst our guests has had a ringside seat in bringing us to this very point. Mateusz Kazimierowicz, captain of SSL Team Poland, and General Director of the SSL Gold Cup, will share his thoughts as we near the end of the qualification rounds. Matthias.
Thank you. We all know that on the end of the championships, there is always a winner. We know it from sport. But to get to the final race, there is a lot has to be done and will happen to get to this point. And we are eager to see and to find out who will win the first edition of the SSL Gold Cup. I'm so excited, and I'm sure you are too. We always like the example of the Football World Cup. We call SSL Gold Cup as a Football World Cup, but in sailing. And we must understand how it is going to happen in SSL Gold Cup. So first, national representations in a Football World Cup, they are competing in the continental qualifications to fight their way to qualify for the finals. We all know that because it's so popular around the world as a sport of football. Out of many of these nations, there will be 32 competing this year in a Football World Cup. I'm saying something for many of you, which are sport of fans, something obvious, but this is important to understand how close we are to this concept. It's worth to point out that for football, it took more than 40 years to put it together, the whole concept, and to bring this come together to the best model. And in our sport, we can do it faster. Actually, we are doing faster, taking a good example. So SSL created the new scenario for sport of sailing. First, I'm happy that we spoke already about the ranking, which is important. There are so many sailors. Most of you are sitting here sailing different boats. Lasers, 420s, stars, dragons, sail GP, and match racing. We love that. And luckily, now we can see all of us, men and women, in the same ranking. Actually, we can filter through the classes, we can filter from through the nations, we can filter through the women and men. And this is great. Thanks to the ranking, you can qualify to your SSL national team, which is national representation. I'm seeing this from my team and many others. They are so proud if they are selected. They are nominated by the captains. This is great. This is like a dream come true for many of them, especially youngsters. And then they all will be competing in the SSL Gold Cup, national representations. There is going to be 40, like Paul said, of the teams coming to Bahrain, and we are looking for that, and it's going to be just great. There are many reasons to compete and great goals to achieve in the SSL Gold Cup for sailors like, let me now call some names. Maria Alexandrova, she's 21 from Bulgaria. She will be, she is competing in the same sailing event as Ian Williams. He's 45 and he's from Great Britain. Manesh Raya, he's 23-year-old from India. He's so excited to be sailing in their team. Tom Slingsby, he's 37. What a great sailor from Australia. And he has also a reason to sail in the SSL Gold Cup. Junella King, she's 23 years old. I know her. She's from Antigua. She's sailing in the SSL Gold Cup, and she is representing her country. Martina Grael, she's 31-year-old from Brazil. She's with Robert in his team. Tan Weng Chong, he is 20 years old from Singapore. Paul Kayart, still very fit and eager to win. We are competing very often against each other. Look at him. He is sailing this race. Andrea Sava, from Venezuela, 30 years old she is. And Loïc Perron. Loïc, we are so proud for you to be here. He is the captain of Team France, and I wish to have so much energy as you, Loïc, to keep on going in sailing. I'm so happy to see you always next to your team and on board. SSL Gold Cup started on May 19th with the qualifying series. And this qualifying series will tell us very soon who is going to go and qualify for the finals. The teams are sailing during the qualifying series in Grandson on Lake Neuchâtel here in Switzerland. All teams ranked from 25 to 56 in the SSL Nations ranking. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are also running the Nations ranking to help the teams to qualify for the teams and the finals. And they will meet in 8 groups of 4 teams each. And there will be 5 rounds until July 17th. Teams qualified so far are Antigua and Barbuda, Estonia, Ireland and Tahiti, Slovenia and Lithuania, Portugal, Czech, Peru and Chile. They just finished the racing yesterday. What an excitement it was to watch, especially. Congratulations. We are excited to wait for the outcome of the rounds 4 and 5. And by that time, on the 17th of July, we will know the countries which we will meet during the SSL final round, and they will come end of October and in November to Bahrain. What a very interesting future in front of us, don't you think? Thank you.
Thank you, Matthias. So please join with me in thanking all our speakers for sharing their extraordinary insights with us. We may never again have so many influential sporting heroes sitting on the same stage in such a forum. As they return to their seats, please join with me in thanking them very much.
Main engine start. We have main engine start. 4, 3, 2, 1.
So our journey is all but complete. As the qualification rounds advance and the finals draw ever closer, we make the transition and handover from Grandson in Switzerland to Manama in Bahrain. I'd like to ask Philippe Loba to return to the stage, please, for the handover ceremony. And I'd like to ask Xavier Roja to return to the podium to commence the transfer of the SSL Gold Cup flag from Switzerland to Bahrain.
Oui, c'est le bon moment, bientôt. Hein. Merci d'avoir partagé tous ces moments et tout ce qui a créé la SSL depuis si longtemps. J'ai l'impression que c'était déjà il y a un siècle. Et tout ça, ça n'aurait jamais été possible sans les athlètes. C'est quelque chose qui est fondamental dans toute cette histoire, dans tout ce mouvement, dans toute cette énergie. Effectivement, il y a un leader, il y a quelqu'un qui est charismatique et qui nous tire vers le haut. Mais sans vous tous et sans le message et sans l'aide que chacun peut amener, on serait vraiment trop loin pour arriver à tout ce qui arrive aujourd'hui. Merci aussi aux 300 collaborateurs qui sont là, qui travaillent jour et nuit. Et je peux vous dire que ça bosse vraiment dur. Et on leur demande beaucoup plus que ce qu'ils pourraient donner. Mais ils sont toujours là et ils résistent. Donc c'est bravo à eux. C'est vraiment très sympa. J'ai entendu tous les mots qui m'ont fait plaisir, hein, donc le ranking, les athlètes, le format, le bateau, tout l'héritage, tout ce qu'on va laisser derrière après ce mouvement. Donc c'est vraiment le fondement de la SSL. C'est vraiment quelque chose qui est très très fort. Et je suis juste là pour garder le cap en fait. Moi je fais pas grand chose d'autre. Hein. C'est tous les autres qui travaillent. La Gold Cup est lancée, les phases de qualification sont en marche. C'est aussi avec beaucoup d'impatience que j'attends de me retrouver à Bahreïn pour les phases finales. Et donc, Sheikh Khalifa, c'est bientôt à nous.
Thank you, Xavier. I would now like to ask His Excellency Sheikh Khalifa bin Abdullah Al Khalifa, President of the Bahrain Maritime Sports Association, to speak on hosting of the SSL Gold Cup 2022 in the Kingdom of Bahrain from October 28th to November the 20th. Sheikh Khalifa.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, I'm very happy and to start my speech. I have many to say, but words and written on the paper, that will be enough. Good evening. My dear friends of the SSL Gold Cup, Star Sailing Foundation, my dear friends, sailors, juries, umpires, and race officers, ladies and gentlemen, I am very happy today to see the dream come true. For a long time, I have been engaged in sailing, training, organizing regattas in Bahrain and the Arab world in total. But today, we are inviting you to be our guest in the Kingdom of Bahrain. Because the Kingdom of Bahrain has been chosen to host the nation of this prestigious event. We are so lucky to have this opportunity to show the world how sailing can bring nations together from all over the world and to sail and compete in the friendly waters of Bahrain. We will do our best to make this event very successful and to be remembered by all sailors, champions, and all over the world. The Kingdom of Bahrain, under the leadership of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa, will provide all the support to make this event happening with a full throttle. And the guidance of His Highness Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, the Crown Prince and the Prime Minister. And under the direct support and services from the President of the Olympic Committee, President of the General Sport Authorities, His Highness Sheikh Khalid bin Hamad Al Khalifa. And I am, as a President of the Bahrain Maritime Sport Association, I have the honor to be part of this extraordinary sailing event, and I will make sure to facilitate all the power and the dynamic to keep the people involved to the success of the SSL Gold Cup. Hoping to have all the best condition of sailing in November in Bahrain. And I would like to thank my friends, especially Nicholas, Michel Nicholas, Corinne, Xavier, Paul Hutton, and David Graham, John Burton, and all the rest of the champions. So, fair wind and following seas. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheikh Khalifa. Ladies and gentlemen, we now ask you to stand for the ceremonial handing over of the flag.
Thank you, everybody. You can sit down. It's almost over. But before we finish this, let's give one more big hand of applause to all of our distinguished guests and all the athletes that are here in this room. So thank you, everybody, and this concludes the official launching of the SSL Gold Cup ceremony. I would like to invite all of you to now go upstairs and join us for the cocktail reception. So thank you, everybody. See you in Bahrain, and here is a small glimpse of what is to come. We'll have just a group picture with the captains outside. If all the captains of the teams can just join us outside with Raquel, we're going to have a group picture of team captains.
Minus 10, 9, 8. We have a go for main engine start. We have main engine start. 4, 3, 2, 1.